I call the member for Stretton.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. In the last sitting of Parliament for 2015, I had the privilege to talk about how the economic position of Queensland has improved immeasurably since the election of the Palaszczuk Labor government. As well as actually listening to the people of Queensland, this government has improved the state's finances, reduced unemployment and focused on an innovation-led approach to economic growth, an approach which is paying handsome dividends in just 12 months of this government being in power. It's remarkable just how quickly the Premier and Treasurer have been able to get Queensland back on track after the complete fiscal recklessness of the former LNP government. Madam Deputy Speaker, last year the former Treasurer, the member for Clayfield, said a number of entertaining things about me, and there's nothing wrong with a bit of entertainment and colour in political life, but he also referred to me as an economic genius. So I take this opportunity to thank the member for his very kind compliment. However, Madam Deputy Speaker, this also reflects a grudging recognition from the member for Clayfield that this government is quickly reversing the LNP's fiscal mismanagement without putting fear into the hearts of public servants, nurses, doctors and other hard-working Queenslanders. Let me remind the House of just a few of the absolute unmitigated and horrendous economic and fiscal failures of the former administration, of which the member for Clayfield was a key part. 1. The sacking of 14,000 public servants in 2012 for no economic benefit. The increase in Queensland's debt from $62.6 billion in 2011-12 to $75.5 billion in 2014-15. The increases in Queensland's taxes by $600 million, all this from the supposedly low-tax LNP. The increase in Queensland's unemployment rate from 5.7% in early 2012 to 7.1% by October 2014 in seasonally adjusted terms. This from a former Premier who fancifully claimed he was committed to reducing unemployment to 4%. And of course, Madam Deputy Speaker, the LNP classic, a desperate attempt to have a fire sale of the state's prime silverware by liquidating $37 billion in highly profitable assets, then using $8 billion of this for wild and irresponsible pork-barrelling election commitments. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is indeed a legacy of failure, a litany of wasted opportunities. Fortunately, Queensland is rapidly recovering from this quagmire, and I would like to share with the House just some of the economic achievements this government has realised over the last 12 months. Last year, I noted unemployment had fallen to 6.1% in December. I'm happy to see that unemployment has remained at this rate in trend terms and that 9,600 new jobs have been created in January alone. Queensland's growth is stronger than ever, with the mid-year fiscal and economic outlook forecasting growth of 4% this financial year and 4.5% in 2016-17. And the Deloitte Access Economics Queensland Business Outlook from December backs this up, stating Queensland's growth will outpace all other mainland states this financial year. We have a superior budget position for the state, with an operating surplus of $1.175 billion this financial year, with this surplus increasing every year up to 2018-19. Building approvals have increased by almost 27% in Queensland during 2015, which represented almost 49,000 new dwellings being approved last year. Madam Deputy Speaker, Queensland now leads the nation in the strength of our building approvals. Overseas merchandise exports were up over 16.7% in 2015, with LNG exports representing over $1.75 billion in value over the period, powering the Queensland economy with clean, green exports. And very strong indications of confidence from the business community, with the January NAB monthly business survey indicating Queensland's business confidence was the highest of any mainland state for the 6th month in a row. You see, Madam Deputy Speaker, what the member for Clayfield and the LNP fail to understand or just don't want to hear is that you can't cut your way to prosperity through attacking people's income and conditions. That's old thinking, reminiscent of the 1980s. In 2016, you actually have to focus on innovative approaches to grow the fiscal pie so that all Queenslanders can benefit from economic growth and achieve their full potential. Unfortunately, due to Treasurer Pitt's fiscal rectitude and innovation-led approach to
Order.
this government, which actually promotes growth rather than cutting it, Queensland now has a bright economic future ahead. And of course, one example of this is the groundbreaking $180 million Advanced Queensland program. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is an economic future based on hope rather than fear, the very real fear that if the LNP elected, there will be mass job cuts and privatisations, courtesy of the member for Clayfield and the LNP and his unreconstructed and ill-judged 1980s neoliberal policies. Thank you.
Before I call the member for